Hello everybody and welcome to Below Apex. I know it's been quite a few days since I've done anything remotely live streaming, and I wanted to kind of keep you updated. Basically, I've been working quite a lot recently, so I've not had time to actually get round to to actually being online. And the other reason why I haven't really been on Halo 5 Forge for quite some time is actually just generally because I've been trying to figure out where I want this map to go and sort of kind of get myself into a point where I actually feel okay. Now, let me show you the things that I've done since the last time that we did this. So the first thing you'll notice are these ramps over here. So I also removed the whole back bases because I didn't like them. I wanted to change them and get them ready. But this ramp that I've got here is what I added recently, and what I've been working on map proportions. So we come to the flag, which I now have added as well. And I've also added this nice little blue cylinder thing, and there's also one on the other side, but this is the red side. So kind of, I want my team to spawn probably back here somewhere. I'm not sure exactly 100% where yet. I'm trying to figure out where. I'm gonna try and figure out where I want my teams to spawn properly yet, because I haven't even done the bases yet. So we'll get to that. But yeah, so you got obviously the kind of the gameplay across like this, but that's about as good as you're gonna get with this map so far currently. So on the right hand side, you run up this way, and you got these stairs which will be able to go up to like an area where it's got like a power weapon and something like that. And obviously you got your lower section down here, and there's actually a man cannon there. I'll show you that in a second. So there's going to be two layers, kind of a little bit like Heretic or Midship as they used to call it. So we've got this here, which at the moment I'm having issues with. So I really like the staircase that I've made, and I'll show you how to make this in a minute. But unfortunately, the invisible walls, the invisible blockers, are extremely difficult to do. So it's kind of like I've got a lot of work to do on these stairs. Because obviously, as you can see, when you go up and down them, they're really bumpy, and they just don't feel nice to go up and down at all. Like they just don't work. As you can tell by the resistance that I'm getting from the stairs. So obviously I need to make some invisible blockers that will actually make this work. And the same goes with, of course, those ramps down here. I can't even see it from here. Those ramps there are the same thing. Obviously, as you can see, we added invisible blockers to the top of the ramp. And that's that same exact thing as what we're going to need to do with these stairs here. But I really like the stairs. I think it adds just a little bit of like sort of verticality to the map, and I think it's really nice. Again, this is the issue. Like right now, is I'm still trying to figure out. Like I'm liking where I'm going with the Forerunner aspect, and it's really causing quite a challenge for me actually, because I've never ever done a Forerunner map before. So I'm really trying to figure out as to where I actually want to go with, the whole Forerunner sort of side of things. But I've been looking recently about to do with the skybox and how the lighting's being generated. This is one of the strangest maps. So there's the sun right there. Okay. But look at where the shadows are being cast. The shadows are being cast as if the sun's down there. So it kind of comes down this way, and as you can see, all the shadows are on the other side of these blocks here. And so the shadows are actually being cast from over there as opposed to there, which is proper strange. Now, it's not something that really when you're playing the map, you're going to really notice. So I'm not going to try. I'm not really going to worry too much about it, but there are a few things like these little sticky out bits of the shadows, and obviously as we progress through this map, these shadows are going to get a little bit less. You know, they're going to get basically how the light map works is the higher your light map, the weaker the shadows look. The kind of the more rubbish your shadows are going to look, and you know I've already got these kind of pokey out bits from these here. So I'm kind of what I was thinking about before I went off last time was actually just covering these bits up. But I don't know, I kind of like the pylons as they are anyway, and I'm not so sure whether spending time out of my sort of day to try and get rid of these little shadows is going to be like, you know, something that's going to be useful for my map really. My biggest issue currently still is just the core fundamentals of the map. So there just isn't enough gameplay. There's not enough map structure to really make this a full-fledged map yet. Obviously, you've still got this. This is all still in development. But I haven't got another base on that. I've been thinking recently that this side of the base over here, I'll go over and I'll walk over to it. This side of the base, I think I'm going to push into like kind of another top ramp like that one over there. So it's kind of a little bit like Midship / Heretic / a little bit of Colosseum in there as well. So I might possibly do that. So I might make this side a little bit like Colosseum actually. So it goes up to the middle of the map, and then the middle of the map has like a rocket. But it doesn't have much cover this side, so it's kind of like you've got a really, really good power weapon, but you've got to sacrifice almost sometimes your life in order to get to it. So that's what I'm thinking. Maybe have something that's a little bit more difficult to get to, something to rush for. You know, you've got a whole massive team a whole massive team of 4v4 that are gonna want to grab power weapons and so forth and so forth. One thing I'm also thinking needs to be changed is have a lower level under like sort of around here, so that we've got a little bit more verticality in the map as well. So I think that's probably something I'm going to do. The thing that I think that at the moment this map is suffering with is just that map layout. So I think I'm going to be working on that over the coming weeks or so. But yeah, so we got this ramp, and I'll show you what this ramp. Let me just get my Twitch chat up just to make sure that I'm making sure that I can speak to everybody if anybody does actually send a message to me. So yeah, I'll show you how I made these ramps, and I've actually presetted these, so I can actually just copy and paste these whenever I want, which is really useful. So let's just get a standard block that I've been working with. I was using a 4x4x16, and what I'm actually going to do is I'm actually going to work on just this left hand side first, and then all I will do then is just duplicate it over one like this, so that you've got both. It's got a big full ramp. Now let me just see if I remember rightly. What I did was I basically grabbed this. Now, if you're on an Xbox, this could be a little bit more difficult, because what I actually do is I use the in-game coordinates at the bottom of the screen. As a PC player, it's just a lot easier to work with coordinates. So I've made sure that all of my positions are at a whole rounded up number, so that basically it doesn't sort of cock up later with coordinates and stuff like that. So what I did was I duplicated this right next to it, so that it was just right next to like that, and I went down one coordinate, and that's the stair. That's kind of the the staircase that I've been going with. But for every single one that I duplicate, I also used, if I remember rightly, it was the y-axis. Yep, there we go. So what I did was I literally grabbed every single one that I do and remove 2 coordinates on the y-axis. And this is on rotation, on angles, by the way. Once I've done that, I then duplicate the block that I've just moved so that you've got the same thing, and you go down 1 with your coordinates, and then of course obviously go down by two coordinates, and then you basically just do this over and over and over again until you get this staircase. Now, of course, there is an issue with this staircase. Let me show you. So if I grab myself, I can't remember whether I actually did save it. Yep, yeah, there they are. They're both there. See how I've got a forerunner staircase left and a forerunner staircase right? There's a reason for that. Oh, there's not enough space in the area to show you the prefab. So, this is our staircase. Okay? And this isn't 100% at a 90-degree angle. I've kind of made it so that it doesn't do that. It kind of has like a nice curve to it. So the thing that let me just delete those. The thing that I had a problem with was you've got this great staircase that I've been working on really nicely, and then of course obviously I want to duplicate this on across the other side, right? But there's only one problem. If I duplicated this, and well, yeah, if I just duplicated it and then turned it around, unfortunately the ramp's the wrong way, and this became an issue. So it was kind of like, okay, I have no control here over the direction that this staircase is going to be. That actually looks really nice. Actually, I quite like that. So I had that issue. And you could try and move this whichever way you want. It's not going to change. Look, as you can see, even by flipping it that way, you've basically it's still going the wrong way. It's now going upwards, which is kind of cool because I mean it allows us that if I wanted to do some vertical kind of stuff with it, then I could do, which is awesome. But it meant that unfortunately I had to redo the whole ramp again. So if I go here with this block here, I would then have to go into this and do exactly what I did before. And let me just make sure all of our coordinates are right. And we will put that to minus 100 and minus 93. Now, I don't know whether that's right or not. I just wanted to get it into the right coordinates so that these coordinates here are all the right way. And again, same here, 180 for that there, 180 for that one there. Just so that they are all we're working with these blocks at a good angle, and we're not going to mess up the angle rotations later and stuff like that. Okay, so same thing is going to apply to this ramp as the last time we did it. We're going to push it down 1 in a coordinate by using our snap coordinates. I turned off the magnets for this because we don't need it. And then, of course, we are now going to go the other way with this y-axis. So now it's 180, so we put it at 182. And then we just keep basically doing this over and over again. Duplicate, turn down 1, go down 1, sorry. And then, why has that gone to that? So that's 180. I swear we just put that to... let me do this again because I think I might have messed it up. Okay. So we go down by 1. And then our 182 becomes 182. And then this one becomes 184. I think I might actually be doing this wrong. I actually forgotten how I've done this now. It's been... I did this a few days ago. I literally completely sort of... I was just messing around with it. And this is how you'd make it double, by the way. You'd just grab the corners like this and just duplicate. Yeah, no, I am doing this right. Because then, as you go down like this, we can go like that. And see, this is confusing me. I don't know why. Oh, I was about to go do a very silly thing then. I don't know how I did. I literally, at this point now, I've actually completely forgotten how I actually even did it myself now, which is just ridiculous. So again, same thing, go down like that by 1, and then we're just gonna go 1, 2 like that, and then duplicate it on that side, and you just keep going like this and keep doing this until you got to this point here. And then that's basically the ramp that I've been working with. Now, of course, obviously, I can change the look of that ramp and do what I want with that ramp later. So there's not saying that that's the final ramp, but I really like it. I think it's a nice looking ramp. It's quite tidy. You know, all of the actual like sort of ramp itself is very nice. It just needs a little bit of work with the invisible blocks, which is going to be the hardest part. I'll show you that in a very short while. And this is the ramp. So obviously I've still kept the lower part. And obviously this is all going to be turned into a nice floor later. But I added this man cannon. I don't think this is going to be final, by the way. But you basically hit your head on this and it goes to the top like this. But this didn't take me long at all. This was just a mess around just to see, because I was still trying to work out the you know, sort of how this map's going to work. Of course, obviously, got the same on this side. Now, one big thing that I really want to talk about in this map that I have done recently that you won't notice because it's the most minute thing in the world, and you know, it's kind of it's a really, really strange change. But I had to do it because it was driving me insane. So I've been working recently with the coordinates, as I've been saying. And it's kind of... I can't explain it to you, but basically when I first started this map, obviously you have to be bearing in mind, of course, that I've only just started playing Forge, you know, sort of properly for quite some time. So when I was kind of going through this map, I was just using magnets, and that's all I used, was just literally just magnets by themselves, and that was it. But now I'm at a situation where I was using magnets all the time, and I needed to make sure that the whole map was actually, you know, put to a whole number on every single one of the positions and the angles, so that basically the map works. So what you're actually seeing here now is a kind of a revamped and a repositioned version of the old map. Because what I did was I went through and I literally went to every single individual block, and I changed the positions, I changed the angles so that they were at the right angles, so that they were actually stuck on a position that worked, so that I could use. Now, obviously, there's a few of them that, for some strange reason, every now and again they change back by 0.1%. It's really annoying, actually. But it's an easy change, and to be honest, it's not that much of an issue. So, that's the big change that I've made. I've basically gone around with every single individual block, and I have changed them to coordinates. So that allows me now to do a lot of precise movements around on the map. And I'm really liking where this is going. There's still a lot more to work with. There's still a lot more to do. And, but I just, with the, right, so recently, the Free for Free announced that basically there would be a tournament. Well, basically they announced that Forge is coming to the Halo Championship circuit, which is just gonna change everything. And obviously I know that this map's probably not going to get into the MLG circuit. That's fine, but it's just that kind of, I want this to be a proper map that isn't just going to be one of those that just kind of gets overlooked and, you know, kind of I just want to spend my time with it, you know? And this is kind of like my baby now. I really want to kind of make this work. And I was actually testing. Let me show you something. I was testing this map out with the custom game variant, which is just the standard customized game variant. So if I go back now and I go to custom games, go to maps, my files, and playing custom games, we change this to, I'm obviously going to base this around capture the flag, but you don't have to. Do you know what I mean? You don't actually have to base this around capture the flag if you don't want to. This could be a Slayer map as well as a CTF. And I've been thinking recently, the oddball variant that they've been bringing out, they are actually thinking about, in the Halo Championship series, they're actually thinking about adding an oddball map and an oddball game variant into the championship circuit, which is so cool. It's this next tournament is going to be one of my favourite tournaments, just because I don't know why they've not added the whole, you know, Forge sort of style maps into their, you know, into their stuff yet. Doesn't make sense why they haven't done that. So I'm super excited for it. Now, right now you can only see one flag because I'm on single player by myself. But if we click change teams and I go to blue team, it kills me. And then I've got now two teams, so I can actually run the flag and kind of see how long it takes to get from one base to the other, all that kind of thing. So I was doing a few tests and kind of pushing myself to try some stuff out. Now, I'm using PC controllers right now, so this is really confusing for me. But yeah, so you can run your flag this way, and obviously when we actually get the full map sorted, we can, you know, we'll run this properly with, you know, proper with some just, you know, just test it properly, because right now obviously we're at a situation where I can't even go up a staircase without having to jump up and down, because it's just so. It's amazing how important invisible blockers are when it comes to, you know, doing the whole maps and stuff. But the great thing about being up there is you can actually drop down whenever you wanted to as well. So if you're in a tight spot, then you could do that. But I'm just trying to think about how this is gonna, like, the most important thing about any Halo map ever is that consistent gameplay movement, that fluid movement between you know, between the maps. And this at the moment only has, of course, obviously one way really, because the other sides aren't really working right now. But the thing that I'm most scared about is this kind of, is that going to be too far away? And if so, what can we do to kind of fill the gap? You you know, where can we go with this map to make it better, more improved, and just overall a better map. Now, obviously, you know, kind of I've been working really kind of trying to figure out where I want to go with it and where I want the game structure to go. So I don't think I'm going to do another stream on this until I figured out the bases, the side bases and stuff like that. So it's going to be probably a while now before I go and do another stream on this. So you'll have to bear with us on that one. I don't know how long it's going to take me. This is the thing, because I've been so kind of stuck as to where I want to go with this that I've kind of stopped and I've not actually gone any further with it. And I will, over the next few days, work towards making sure that I can actually do something to try and push myself forward, and actually do it. One thing. This is actually kind of something that I was thinking about this morning. It was kind of like, what I've done is I've not even placed a single block since those staircases, and that's because I think more than anything else, I'm actually just scared to actually do anything with the map because I like where it's gone, and I've kind of shied away from it a little bit. And I think, but this is the thing, is that these days we are in one of the best day and ages for making mistakes, right? Because especially with this, for instance, like Forge, you've got so many chances to try it and try different things and new things. Because if I wanted to right now, I could go to Forge like this when the game loads. I could go to Forge and load up my Tide map, which is this one. Click Start, and then as soon as I click Start, I can go and save as a new preset. And that way then, nothing that I do from this point onwards with Tide version 2 is going to affect the map later. I always seem to presume that if I make any mistakes or any moves next, I'm going to mess up this map. But that's not the case at all, because I have this opportunity to do whatever I like with the map without messing it up. And that's something I really myself need to get into a habit of. Save as a new map, call it Tide version 3, like this. Now Tide version 2 is safe. That's still in this exact place where all of these objects are, like this. So that means that now I can just mess around with every single little bit of this map, and I can really start to think about what I want to do next. Start mapping things out, and I've just changed the coordinates of that. I don't even know how I did that. And so there you go. You know, that's just something that you can do that hopefully maybe might make it easier for you as a map maker. Go crazy. You've got so many save points, and it'll just help you out in the long run to really sit down and just forge. At the end of the day, that's kind of how this map particularly started, you know? This is how... Let me change these to 0. Actually, no, I want that one to be 90. I probably confused myself here with these blocks. Let me just put that to 140. Oh, minus 140. Jesus. I'm just trying to make sure that these coordinates are in the right place, so that I don't actually make any mistakes later. Alright, it's in the right coordinates now. It just needs to be moved around. So I was also watching a video the other day on something that's very important when working with Forge, and that is the kind of... So every single map that you make, you've got to think about how far the Spartans can actually jump. And that's something I really haven't taken into account with this particular map. And so I need to think about that as well. See, now I'm not so sure whether I like that, but it's better than what it was, just purely for the fact that now there's actually something more, you know? There's more ways to go, and, of course, obviously, we can then do stuff like this. Oh, there you go. I'm pressing buttons by mistake. So we could use these and have another lower section. And within these lower sections, we could add little bits of cover and stuff like that if we really wanted to. Something that I have been worried about with this map is the kind of where it is and kind of right. So right now we've made a map on top of a big massive ocean, and it's kind of like it looks at this point in second, it looks very out of place. Obviously, when we add other foreigner structures around the map, it's going to look a little bit better, because obviously it kind of almost feels like it's floating, but this doesn't feel like it's floating. It just literally feels like it's just there, you know. So obviously we need to figure out some possible ways of making that look different. I was thinking recently of trying to encase this map, but the only issue with encasing this map is that then you remove those beautiful shadows that this map has, and I think one of the things that I'm really liking about this map is just generally the lighting. I really like how the lighting hits the map so far, and I think it's actually quite a beautiful looking map so far. You know, you've got these nice shadows that just really add to the kind of the beauty of the foreigner structures, which tower over you in such a great way, and I really like it. I think it's one of the best parts so far. This I actually quite like this. I didn't think I'd like this. This is the thing, is that now I've tried it, and I'm like, you know what? This doesn't actually feel that bad as a gameplay mechanic. I quite like this. And it might even be a good idea to maybe add some more of these ramps, or maybe not. I don't know. Actually, the thing is, these ramps are so nice. I don't want to overdo it with these ramps, because they're actually like they're so unique as foreigner structure blocks go, and I'm really happy with these. I don't want to overdo it with them, because they're quite unique. And if I start adding them into other parts of the map as well, it's just gonna ruin the kind of the these are meant to be here on purpose, so that they kind of draw your attention, they draw your eye to the other side of the map. So we can save now as much as we want, and we can just mess around as much as we want in Forge without having any issues. Now, I mean, at this point, this is where I kind of go, right, what do I want to do here now? And immediately my brain's just saying cover it all up, and go from there. But I don't know whether that's actually the right thing to do. But that's the thing, that's the great thing about this, and this is why I was saying this, because this is more of a lesson for me here, right? And less just kind of like a lecture for you guys, because I mean that's what it's sounding like to me right now. It's sounding like a lecture, but it's not actually a lecture for you guys at all. This was more for me, my benefit, my own benefit. Is I'm sat here now working towards a map that before I was just too scared to work on, and I can't get this in the right place because the blocks are just everywhere. There we go. And then we'll do... Oh, okay, that's fine, actually. So let's have a quick look at this again now. So now you've got this lower area. That keeps putting me off. That man cannon I keep on looking at that and thinking that's it, that's a human. That is a blue team member, and it's confusing the hell out of me. So yeah, we could have another man cannon on this side as well. That takes us up to a higher area, maybe. I don't know. I mean, I've still got a lot to think about when it comes to this map, but things are starting to look a little bit better. Like already, the structure of this map's now just changed from looking a bit strange to this beautiful look. I really like this left side as being kind of having this level here. And of course, let's not forget, we have these beautiful images that are going to help us through this map making process. Now, since the last time that we looked at these images, I have looked at a few more on the internet as well, and I don't know. There's just so I really love the rocks. The rocks are a really cool part of the map that I'm trying to make. That I want to add that in so badly. But that, of course, then means, obviously, going into our rock section. And this is where it started to become a little bit of a problem. So, let's go to our rock section. And the one thing that I immediately realised was that all of these objects are so big. There's so many rocks. And the problem is, I want a variation, you know? I want a variation of big rocks and small rocks. But unfortunately, there just isn't enough variation here in order to make the kind of stuff that I want to actually make. Let me just try and get... I don't understand why this... Oh, it's because it's on the... There we go. And if we change the route, that to from camera to object, now we've got a. Let me just restart this. There we go. And now we can flip it the right way. There we go. So now you've got these kind of floating rocks, but they just don't look. They look really out of place, right now at least. Anyway. So we've got a bit of work to do when it comes to the rocks as well, but as you could tell from the rocks in the images, they actually they floated around the pylons and stuff like that in such a way that it made it look like they were floating, as opposed to having it just way off the distance and just kind of being random. So that's just another thing to be wary of when we work on the rocks and stuff later. I definitely want to add the rocks now. I think it's such a cool idea. I'm going to script them, I think, and make them just kind of move up and down, float kind of thing. I think that'd be a really nice idea with the rocks. And that's it, basically. That's what I've done so far to this map to make it sort of continue down the line that I want it to go down. So obviously I think I have made my decision. I like that floor. I think that's quite nice. I'm gonna leave that as it is. I'm gonna add another high advantage point on this side with kind of like a Colosseum kind of rocket area. I think that'd be a really nice idea. And then obviously on the right hand side we've got our ramp that of course leads to our man cannon, and obviously another power up on this side as well. More than likely going to be a power up in the middle as well. And we just need to think about the gameplay style of this map a little bit more. But it's coming together really nicely. I'm liking where it's going, and we've still got a long way to go. Obviously, we've still got to put our invisible blockers on our ramp as well, which is going to be a bit of a nightmare. But we'll get there. Everything is slowly but surely coming together. Thanks, guys, very much for watching. And I'm gonna go off and. I'm going to bed because I've got work in the morning, so see you guys very soon. Take care.